Hey there. So here we are for the Marvel Superheroes Highlander set review. Um, I have to say, so this time I'm doing it on my own. So Dominic and Leon are not there this time. They're super busy. But on the other side, they were also not super interested in the set. But I thought I'm gonna keep on going on myself and doing it. So yeah, Marvel Superheroes. It's the second Marvel set, and it's ongoing theme that where Wizards wants to push like universes beyond the standard. And this year, in 2026, we will have a lot of universes beyond sets. So yeah, the Marvel, everybody knows it. There's a lot of it's based on the comics, the set, and there used to be a lot of like cinema films, and I used to watch a lot of them. And yeah, so in general, I have to say like people are not super hyped about it, but I think it's a better set than Spider-Man, definitely. So we start with. I have to say also, I'm doing as a two-parter. So first I'm doing colorless and going white, blue, and black, and then the second part we do the other colors. So I start with Molecule Man. It's a 6 mana colorless legendary creature human villain, and it has a text non-land cards in your hand have Miracle 0, and it's a 5/5. So this is good for cheat decks. So I first thought about putting it in a Cascade Hypergenesis deck with Glimpse, where you have a lot of fatties, which are like 10 to 12 mana or like 7 8 mana. And then like getting to 6 mana with some of these depletion lands or Ancient Tomb or other double lands, it's not so bad. And then you can cast your Eldrazi's or your Traxa or whatever. Um, Besides that, I don't see any place, but I also have to say this time only one brain, and I don't have like all the ideas, and I didn't play all the decks. I played a lot of decks for the channel so far, but did not play all the decks, so I don't have experience in anything. So next card, Galactus, Devourer of Worlds. It's a 10 mana colorless 12/12 with Flying, Trample, Indestructible. And when it enters, exile target permanent. And when it attacks an opponent with the most life among your opponents, each combat if able, unless you control a creature named Silver Surfer Galactus Herald. So the second part is only for Commander. I think this is not existent in 1 versus 1. And besides that, I just wanted to add it because it's one of these big fatties that you get cheated to play either through the animation or the before mentioned effects like with Hypergenesis or with Eureka, or maybe you play Sneak and Show and Tell or Sneak Attack or something like this. So I have to add, even though it's a 10 mana 12/12, it doesn't have a cast trigger, so it's better to cheat in than maybe in a Eldrazi. Yeah, that's it. So we start with the first white card. It's Captain America Super Soldier. It's 1 in a white, legendary creature, human soldier, hero. First strike, Captain America enters with a shield counter on it. And as long as Captain America has a shield counter on him, you and other heroes you control have Hexproof. So first, yeah, shield counter. So when it's dealt damage or destroyed, you remove the shield counter instead. So it's a human, it's a 3/2 first strike, so you can play it maybe in human decks. So it's made for archetypal heroes, so we assume that there will be, I think, like 5 other Marvel sets coming, because in the first and the second one there was like an Infinity Stone, and like this story has like I think 7 Infinity Stones. So I think there's 5 others coming. So maybe in the future there will be enough heroes to make a hero type of deck, but currently it's just a first striking creature. Like, as we all know, first striking is very good on defense. And I don't know, giving you hexproof can be okay against like burn or discard, but it's a fine card. So next card, Jennifer Walters, 1 and a white. So it's a flip card. On the one side, it's called Jennifer Waters. It's 1 and white, legendary creature, human advisor hero, and your opponents can't cast spells during your turn. And it has an activate ability for 3 green, white, white. Transform Jennifer Walters, activate only as a sorcery. And on the other side, it's the sensational She-Hulk for 3 green, white, white. A legendary creature, Gamma Hero, which trample. Your opponents can't cast spells during your turn. And whenever a creature you control is dealt damage, you may have the sensational She-Hulk deal that much damage to any target. Do this only once per turn. So it's a flip card, but it's also a modal phase double card or something like this. So you can either cast it for like 2 as a 2/3 and then flip it later, or you can immediately, if you have the mana, cast it as a 6-drop. So you can only flip it from the front side to the back side, not the other way around, but the most important ability is on both sides, that your opponent can't cast spells during your turn. So in aggressive white decks or creature combo decks, I see this as a card that you can play. There's a possibility where you only play the front side, you don't care much about the back side, and yeah, maybe you can splash the activation to flip it. On the other side, like 6 mana as a 6/6 which trample. It's similar stats to like a Primeval Titan without the land search effect. But the fact that she has that whenever a creature you control is dealt damage, you may have damage to any other target, can swing creature combat in your favor. Yeah. So that's it. Next card. It's a first card from I think it's either the Commander or the Jumpstart set. It's called Matt Murdock, Justice Seeker for 1 and a white, legendary creature, human advisor hero, and at the beginning of your combat on your turn, you may pay 1 generic, and when you do, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control, and each creature you control with a +1 with a counter on it has Ward 1. It's a 2/2. So yeah. In Death in Texas or like white aggressive or counter stack, I see this as a player. Giving Ward is obviously very good. Similar to the other effects that we used to have right now, where at the beginning of your combat you can put a counter. On this you have to pay 1 mana, which is more expensive, but the Ward effect can help you play against a lot of interaction. Next card. This is one of the earlier mentioned Infinity Stones. It's the Mind Stone for 1 and a white. It's a legendary artifact, Infinity Stone. It has indestructible and tap at 1 white. And for 5 and a white, harness the Mind Stone. And once it's harnessed, its affinity ability is active. And the infinity ability is at the beginning of your end step, exile up to 1 Target non-land permanent you control, and then return that card to the battlefield under its owner's control. So, as a mana walk in like bigger, wide rampish decks, this is good. Instructable is kind of useful, but in my experience, there's like effects like Portable Hole or the Seam Rip, which exiles smaller things. I don't know, against like Night of Autumn, it's protected, or against like other effects. And then if you maybe are a Blink deck, you can use the 6 mana side and abuse it to your benefit. Maybe it's okay in a Blink deck since we play a lot of like 3 and 4 drops. But in general, it would just be a very expensive card that you can open and be happy about it. The artwork's a little bit weird. Looks a little bit like Serial, like Salvador Dali or something, with the floating stairs and the background floating chairs and stuff. But yeah, this is okay. I played the Black Stone already and it was fine. It immediately got exiled by Portable Home when I had it. So next card, Night Nurse, healer of heroes, 1 in white, legendary creature, human doctor hero, flash lifelink, and when Night Nurse enters, choose target permanent card in your graveyard that was put there from anywhere this turn and return it to your hand. So there was a card before in Lord of the Rings, it was called Sam Stoutheart or something. I think it was also a 2-1, and it had a similar thing where whenever permanent went into the graveyard, you could like take it back to your hand and you would do the ring ability. This one has lifelink, and it also gets back cards that you milled or threw into the graveyard with things like maybe Entomb or something. So this is definitely better. It's a human, which is better. The flavor is cool in my opinion, but so yeah, as I mentioned, it could work well with Entomb. So with Entomb, it's just like this plus Entomb is like a mini demonic tutor plus a creature. You can surveil cards into your graveyard and then get them back. Or you, after discard, maybe you can play it and get the card back. I think this is a very good card. I think this will see play. So next card, Queen Mother Ramonda, 3 white, legendary creature, human noble. When Queen Mother Ramonda enters, you become the monarch, and as long as you are the monarch, creatures with power 2 or less can't attack you, and it's a 3/5. So the only monarch cards that are currently played are the Palace Jailer, Force and Lingers, and the Jeskai Legend. And these are all 4 mana, or with an X cost. This is 5 mana. And like after the initiative came, the monarch cards saw less play, but I think this effect, like stacking your opponents to keep the monarchy, is really good. So having this in white-green deck or in a mono-white deck, or maybe a controller-ish blue-white deck to draw a couple of cards and then keep the monarchy and the opponent can't attack you seems fine. As all the other creature cards, this is a legend. So it can be bounced by the opponent's Karakas, but you can also save your own cards with the Karakas. I think this can be a nice role player. So first blue card, Atuma, Atlantean Warlord. For 2 blue, legendary creature, Merfolk, warrior, villain. Other Merfolk you control get +1/+1. And whenever one or more Merfolk you control attack a player, draw a card, and it's a 3/4. So all that Merfolk wants is lords, and this is another lord. Even though it's 4 mana, it immediately can draw a card and replace itself. 4 toughness is nice, definitely. I think this is playable in Merfolk, of course. Next card, giant-sized flying ant. This is actually maybe I think one of the only non-legendary creatures that I'm talking about. It's a 3 and a blue creature insect, flash flying, and when this creature enters, choose 1, tap target non-land permanent, or untap target non-land permanent, and it's a 3/2. Yeah, as you might see, it goes Infinite Bliss with Splinter Twin and Kiki-Jiki. So the density of all the cards that come with them rise in the past years. So there's over 10 or 15 of them now. But there are only 2 cards which go infinite. So maybe we might get another Kiki-Jiki or Splinter Twin at some point to make this deck more playable. Currently, you have to, if you want to play the full amount of them, you have to play like Jeskai, Controller's deck. Yeah, next card. Ironheart, Clever Champion for 4 and a blue, legendary artifact creature, human hero. Improvise, so you can tap your artifacts to cast the cards, and flying and non-creature spells you cast may have improvise, and it's a 3/4. So we recently got a lot of these improvise and affinity cards. Yeah, in an affinity deck with a lot of non-creature cards, it can be decent. Flying is nice. Yeah, not much to say besides that. Yeah, maybe I'm gonna sleeve up some affinity in the near future. So next card, Namor the Submariner, 1 blue, legendary creature, mutant, Merfolk villain. Flying, Namor's power is equal to the number of Merfolk you control. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell with 1 or more blue mana symbols in its mana cost, create that many +1/+1 blue Merfolk creature tokens, and it's the X4. So yeah, this is the best card for Merfolk from the set. It was spoiled really early, and I think if you want to play Merfolk, you have like a couple of different routes. You can play blue, green, or blue, white, or blue, green, white, and some versions are like more creature focused, and this is a card which asks you to have more non-creature spells in it. So it's a little bit of a build around, but it's a big flyer with 4 toughness. I think this is a very good card. When I'm doing something. So Tony Stark, it's 1 in the blue, legendary creature, human artificer hero, and has an active ability, 1 generic. Tap, look at the top 4 cards of your library, and you may reveal an artifact card from among them and put it into your hand, and put the rest on the bottom of your library in random order. And then it has a flip ability, because there's another side. For 4 blue-red, transform Tony Stark, activate only as a sorcery. And on the other side, it's the Invincible Iron Man for 4 blue-red, legendary artifact creature, human hero, flying haste. And at the beginning of your combat on your turn, you may put an artifact card from your hand onto the battlefield, and if it's an equipment, attach it to the Invincible Iron Man. It's a 5/5. So yeah, as mentioned before, you can cast both sides. Tony Stark in the early game to find artifacts in your artifact deck. And then maybe you flip it, or you have more mana in the late game, then you can cheat in something big, maybe an equipment, maybe some other big artifact thing. So you can play it in like mid-range artifact decks, I think, or maybe artifact combo, and there might be decks where your plan is to cheat in big artifacts either through like reanimation, like with Trash for Treasure, or with the 5-drop Red Legend from the race set. And I don't know, you can either cheat artifacts from your hand, or you grave it into the battlefield. And with that, in that deck, it might be okay. 6 mana is a lot, but I don't know. Flying Haste 5/5 is fine. Next card, the Wondrous Wasp. One generic in the blue, legendary creature, human hero, flash flying. And when the Wondrous Wasp enters, tap up to one target creature, it loses all abilities for as long the Wondrous Wasp remains on the battlefield, and it's a 2/1. So this might be the best or one of the best cards in the set. It can be played in like, is it tempo or other 2-color tempo variants, or maybe single color? That might be good enough. I think in Is It there's currently, or Mono Blue, there's currently played card Malcolm or the Fairy Mastermind. And this can have a similar slot because like the ETB ability to lose a creature, let the creature loses all the abilities, can be pretty good against like the Golfs that like all the Golfs that got printed in Modern Horizons 3, or like Modern Horizons 3 Commander, and you can also kill constructs with it. And we can maybe even bounce it with the Caracas and play it again. Yep, next card. First card in black, Baron Helmut Zemo, black, legendary creature, human, noble villain. Whenever you cast a black spell from your hand, Baron Helmut Zemo connives. That means you draw a card and discard a card, and whenever it's a non-land card, it gets a +1/+1 counter. And then it has a boast. So when you attack, you can activate it and exile any number of black cards from your graveyard with 15 or more black mana symbols among their mana costs, and copy those exiled cards. You may cast up to 3 of the copies without paying their mana cost, and it's a 3/3. Yeah, in Mono Black Aggro, you might play it. Your creatures die pretty often, and you fill your graveyard either through milling or like tutoring into the graveyard. And there you might want to play it because you're an attacking deck. You can boast it. You can push your Helmut Zemo through with your removal spells, and then you can flashback your spells. Yeah. Even though it's a Nazi in the story, this might be a thing that you want to play. So second black card, Black Widow Super Spy for 1 and a black, legendary creature, human spy hero, menace. Whenever Black Widow deals combat damage to a player, that player exiles cards from the top of their library until they exile a non-land card. You may put a +1/+1 counter on Black Widow. And if you don't, you may cast the exiled non-land card until the end of turn, and mana of any type can be spent to cast its spell instead of 2/1. So yeah, the obvious comparison is Ragavan in black, where you hit the opponent, you find a card from the opponent's deck, and you can play it. The difference is that this card has obviously no haste and no treasure ability, but on the other side it will always hit a spell, and you can spend any mana for it. I think this is good. First, I was not super interested of it because it's 2 mana, 2/1, and it dies to 1 and 6, bombers and all the other things. Menace is obviously nice. Actually, I still don't know how good it will be. Yeah, I'm open to see what it will do. So next card, Electra, Daughter of the Hand for 2 black. Legendary creature, human ninja villain, and has a sneak ability for 1 black. So sneak, you may cast a spell for 1 black if you also return an unblocked attacker you control to hand during the declare blocker step, and she enters tapped and attacking. And whenever it enters, destroy target creature and opponent controls with power 3 or less, and it's 3/3. So it's a ninja, it has a sneak ability, so you can play the ninja. So for that deck, it might be good. Maybe you're gonna even play it in like mid-range animation decks, like, what's it called again? The Rexer decks, or maybe mono black. Yeah, 3/3 is not super good. And also the destruction is not super useful, but maybe this can see a little bit of play. Okay, Dr. Doom Unrivaled, 2 black, legendary creature, human sorcerer villain, lifelink, and you draw a card and lose a life. So it has a tap ability. You draw a card and lose a life, and then if your library has no cards in it, you win the game. And there's a reminder text. You win even if you have 0 life or didn't draw a card. It's a 4/4. So the card Thassa's Oracle is banned in European Highlander. In Canadian Highlander, you can still play it. This is no Thassa's Oracle. It's a different card. It's a 4 mana 4/4 with lifelink. So as a fair card, it can be much more useful, I think. And you have to either give it haste or like wait a turn to activate it. I want to play this card in like mono black control together with the Demonic Consultation. And I also want to play it in Uppsala spells. There's a possibility to put it under your Soul Cauldron to use it immediately. Or there's a possibility to reanimate with haste somehow, either with things like what's the potato card? The potato baby. So there's a card when it's in the graveyard, and if you have a mountain, all your creatures have haste. With that, you can maybe give it haste. Or there are some reanimation spells where they get haste, but they have to be sacrificed at the end of turn. With that, you can do it. I think there might be some oops lines or lines where you mill yourself and then, I don't know, maybe in your upkeep, shuffle 3 cards, or like 1 card on top, like the reanimation spell Reanimated Win, or these Soul Cauldron lines. But I think also in mono black control, just as a draw engine, it could be okay. And like 4 mana 4/4 lifelink is pretty annoying against like more aggressive decks. Yeah, currently this is pretty expensive, I think, because it's also mythic out of the Jumpstart Commander set. I think this is a pretty good card. I think this will see plenty of play. And yeah, this was the first part. We will start with the second part later with the red cards. Thanks for watching, and yeah, if you liked the video, give me a like, subscribe to show your interest, and maybe this helps me creating more content in the future. Thanks, and bye.